Hello everyone, welcome to the third lecture of Oil, Hydraulics and Pneumatics. I am Milan Trivedi, professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. From the last two lectures, we are discussing about the chapter number 1. In this, today we are going to discuss about the general layout of hydraulic system and which are the different components we are using in the hydraulic system. So let us start with the understanding of general layout of hydraulic circuit. Now it is not like that in each of the hydraulic circuit the layout would be same. Layout can be different as per the application and the requirement. Now in this particular application, our requirement is such that this is the piston and rod end of piston. Now this can be taken in the front direction and can be retracted. That is our ultimate requirement. By that action, if some material has been pushed and then it is again taken back. So that is our ultimate requirement. So what should be the alignment of all the different components that we are going to discuss right now? First of all, we require a hydraulic cylinder. This is a double acting hydraulic cylinder. Double acting, that's it is said because this can be acted in two different conditions as per the motion of the working fluid. Say for example, this is a cap end of the hydraulic cylinder, this is a rod end of the hydraulic cylinder. If working fluid is entering from this particular cap end, then piston will be moved forward, right? And if the working fluid is entering from this rod end, then it piston will be retracted, right? So that two-way position can be achieved. Now, how to direct that particular working fluid? In order to direct that working fluid, we are using this 4x2 direction control valve. If you observe the figure carefully in this particular application, what we are doing is from the positive displacement pump, we are guiding the working fluid towards the rod end of the cylinder. Now due to the high pressure of that working fluid, this particular piston would be taken back, and in this particular zone, that is at the cap end, working fluid will be having a less pressure. That working fluid will be directed with the help of this 4x2 direction control valve to the reservoir section, right? But now once we press this particular direction control valve, the direction of application would be different. That is, from the pump area, high pressurized fluid would be entered to this particular cap end and piston would be moved forward. At the same time, from the rod end region, less pressurized fluid would be returning to the reservoir section, right? So this is how the complete circuit behaves. Now from the reservoir, we are having a constant supply of the working fluid to the pump section, and at the same time from the cylinder, working fluid is returning. This particular filter will try to remove the dust particles, abrasives, whichever received during the application. Pump normally which we are using is the positive displacement pump because our ultimate requirement is to have a constant discharge. Whatever pressure is created, we need to have a discharge under that condition. So in order to fulfill that, we are using only positive displacement pump. So this is the general layout or the understanding of different members. Now let us understand that thing in detail. Normally we need to draw a schematic view. So this diagram we can draw in the exam. First of all, we are having a reservoir. Now above the reservoir, we are mounting the electrical motor which will drive a pump. Now pump, as it is getting driven, it will try to suck the liquid from the reservoir and it will relieve the high pressurized fluid to this particular bypass line as well as the main line. This is called as a bypass line. In bypass line, we are having a pressure control element. We will understand the concept of that. First of all, by this red line, you can understand that this is a high pressurized zone. Now, through the direction control valve, as I told earlier, it is entering into the cylinder region. At the same time, at the rod end of the cylinder, less pressurized fluid is returning back to the reservoir. This is a one cycle, right? Now let me give you the understanding of this particular pressure control element. See, some of the time it may happen that working fluid is entering into this particular zone. It will push the piston in this forward direction. Once piston is reaching from this particular stage to the dead end of this particular cylinder, then pressure in the cylinder will get start building up, right? If we are not pressing the direction control valve so that cylinder get retracted, we are not pressing that, then pressure will get start building up into this particular cylinder region. And if this pressure is exceeding the limit which the cylinder can handle, then this cylinder can be burst out. Not only cylinder, this direction control valve, these different hoses which we are using, all are having one limitation. So that particular elements will be burst out. So that won't happen by the use of this pressure control element. For example, how does that works? Say for example, in this we set a limit of 5 bar. So pressure will not go, high pressurized fluid will not enter in this particular zone until and unless 5 bar pressure is there. Once it is entering in the main line, piston is reaching up to dead end, still pressure is building up 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar. Once it is reaching to the 5 bar state, then what happens? This pressure control element, in this we are using pressure relief valve. The valve will get open up and it will relieve the excess pressure and it will send the fluid back to the reservoir region. Right. So for that reason we are using this normally pressure control element. This is how does it behaves. Now let us understand in detail the function of each and every element. Normally, as you have seen, we are having this 7 different elements in our complete hydraulic circuit. First one is a reservoir, second one is a pump, third one is a motor, fourth one that is valves. Whenever we talk about a valve, we are having 3 different types of valve. First one is a direction control valve, second one is a pressure control valve, and third one is a flow control valve. Each valve is having its own application. Fifth element, that is the actuator, or we are calling it as a cylinder also. Sixth element, that is a filter, and seventh one, that is a hoses which is connecting different elements, right? Now let us understand in detail about the first element, that is a reservoir. Reservoir is normally a cylindrical or a rectangular element in which liquid can be stored. But whenever we observe that cross section of the particular reservoir, inside that we are having a baffle plates, we are having a side glass. This side glass is actually indicating the level of working fluid in the reservoir. And the function of this baffle plate is to provide a long path to the returning fluid. See, this is a returning line and this is a line which is going to the pump. So what will happen? This baffle will not allow these two different oil to mix up, right? Rather, what actually will happen is whenever return fluid is entering into this particular zone, only from the bottom section working fluid can enter into this second section. Why this particular requirement is there? Because whenever working fluid is returning back, it will be having a high temperature, right? We cannot circulate that high temperature fluid directly back to this particular pump. The fluid which is having high temperature will try to stay above, because as the density of that fluid would be less, and the fluid which is cooled down, that is remaining at the below section. That is the fluid which is cooled, that will enter into this particular zone and can be given back to the pump line. Okay, so this is how this particular reservoir behaves. Apart from that, if you see the second diagram carefully, and at the top portion of this reservoir we can mount even electrical motor. So this particular entire region should be made bulky and it must have a proper foundation, right? This again the second view. In this I need to actually explain one more thing, that whenever we require a cleaning of this particular reservoir or the maintenance of the reservoir, we must have this kind of attachment, that sealed flanges, so that oil doesn't come out, particular side gateways through which we can remove the different elements and we can do the proper maintenance of that. Normally air breather and filler cap is also provided so that vacuum creation won't happen. Now let us understand the pump. See, like cylinders, hydraulic motors are drive components controlled by valves. They to convert hydraulic power into the mechanical power, with the difference that they generate rotary or swivel movements instead of linear movements. This gear pump, normally positive displacement pump only we are using in this particular application, as we require a constant discharge. Okay, this is a bidirectional pump. That's why in the symbol you will find this kind of two dark arrows. If it is a single application, single side, then it will be having a dark side arrow on one of its end only, right? But it will, this suction region, working fluid will get trapped into the teeth. One gear will be driven member, another will be driven member. So all get trapped in between the different teeth, and it will be sent to the particular direction control valve direction. The third one, that is the motor. Motor we require actually in order to generate the pump. Normally it is founded on the reservoir top section, and it is coupled to the shaft of the particular pump. In this we can use electrical motor as per our requirement, that how much pumping pressure we require. Based on that, 3 HP, 5 HP, 7 HP motor is chosen. Fourth element, that is valves. As I told earlier, we are having three different valves. In this simple circuit, we had already understood two different valves. Direction control valve, that is directing the working fluid direction. In this particular scenario, working fluid is directed from this pump line to the cap end of the cylinder, right? And from the rod end of the cylinder, working fluid is returning to the reservoir. But if we want to return the direction, then it is possible with the help of direction control valve. In that scenario, high pressurized fluid will be pumped to the rod end, and from the cap end, working fluid will return to the reservoir. Second, pressure control valve we can use in order to have a control over the different pressure conditions. Apart from that, we can use the flow control valve also, which can be placed in this particular zone, right? The function of that flow control valve will be to direct the velocity of the actuator, right? We can have a control over this particular actuation. That velocity part of this actuator can be controlled by using the flow control valve. As I told, first one is our direction control valve, which is directing the working fluid. Second is a pressure control valve, which is actually directing this particular working fluid. This is a real view of the pressure control valve. That's why I've taken a different slide of that. And flow control valve, which normally appears like this. This is simple in construction. This just same like our tap water, right? How much valve we open or close, based on that working fluid will be passed, and that will actually affecting the velocity of this particular actuator. Fifth one, that is the actuator. This is a double acting type of actuator or cylinder. We are having a number of classification in this particular actuator or cylinder. Right now in this basic circuit, we need to understand about this particular actuator. This is a real view of the cylinder. We are having two different ports, one at the rod end of the cylinder, another is at the cap end, which will direct the piston of the particular actuator. Based on that, we will get the application at this particular rod end region. Sixth element, that is a filter element. Filter is actually having main use as the working fluid which is returning from the cylinder, that is carrying away lot of debris with them, or the dust particles. How does that getting involved, that we also need to understand. See, whenever there is a forward motion, whenever piston is moving forward, what actually will happen is oil particle or oil stains will get stick to this particular rod. Now, once this rod is coming out, it will be having a layer of oil particle above them, right? Now that oil particle will try to stick the dust on that particular region, right? Dust will get stick on that particular oil particle. Now whenever this particular piston is coming back, that dust particle will also get trapped inside. Now that dust particle will try to enter into this particular region. If it is entering in this direction control valve, even the pump region, reservoir, then it will damage all that particular component over the longer period of time. So to remove that all the dust particles, we need to have the proper filtration. That's why we are using the filter. So every time fresh oil only enters into the entire system. Seventh one is the hoses. Hoses are those elements or connecting members which is connecting our different parts. This is the hose which is connected from reservoir to the pump. Again, we are using hose to connect pump with the pressure element, direction control valve. Here again, direction control valve is connected to the cylinder with the help of hose, right? Same way as in the return line. So these hoses are also need to be designed in such a way that it handles a lot of pressure. That's all about this. Thanks for watching.